All right, guys, welcome on into the Auburn Sports Forum, your Auburn sports news from a fan's perspective. Thank you for coming on in. If you do me a huge favor, go ahead and smash that subscribe button, smash that little bell so that way you know every single time that I upload a video. Well, day one of the portal is over. It was not exactly what we thought it was going to be, but as I've explained before, I think I know what happened. I think I know why. Nothing important. It's just some oversight from fans, and I'll go ahead and jump into that. When you look at it from a fan's perspective, it's just we were waiting for January 2nd. When January 2nd got here, we were expecting all kinds of movement. Well, the one thing we didn't really calculate is that's when all the papers were submitted because they can't do anything until January 2nd. The schools can't do anything. Nobody can do anything because that's when the portal opens. That's when you jump into the portal. Then you have to do all the paperwork. Then you have to go to the schools that you're going to have visits with and all that kind of stuff. And then you have to do paperwork. You got to make a deal. Agents have to talk to schools. I mean, it would be very hard for people to do it in a day unless they had something already ready to go. And then the thing is the kids that had something ready to go still couldn't do anything because people like Byron Brown, like he didn't get his paperwork done till Friday late. So, and he couldn't go anywhere till Saturday. So when you have players that have that kind of a situation, I mean, we probably shouldn't expect anything till a big movement to happen till next week. But I do think that like players can pop, and they have been popping all since the portal opened. It's just not the busy time because this is now when they're getting the paperwork done. So I think that as fans, we want it now. We want it, and we want it now. And the longer we have to go through another couple of days, you're going to see on Twitter and everywhere else the speculation that, oh, well, this player didn't actually sign with them, or this, that, and the other. But that's just not the case. I mean, they literally are in the talking phase right now. They went through the paperwork phase day, and some people popped Saturday. And I mean, we're just in the talking phase now. We're in the beginning of discussions. Yes, tampering is like a son of a gun and it's out there, but it's not like their coach is directly calling the player. The coach is talking to the player through different channels. And, this is the first time a coach and a staff is going to be able to sit down with a player and actually talk out some stuff with him and his agent. So everybody just needs to simmer down now. That's what they used to say back on Saturday Night Live. Simmer down now, and we're going to be okay. Everything's going to be fine. So I'm going to talk about what happened with Auburn on day one, what we got, and then some of the players that left, some of the big players that left, what's going on with them. So let's dive into it because I ain't got time to BS around here. So I wrote down all this stuff that way I didn't lead you astray. I got this all from viable sources, and so you can trust that this is good information. But Lachlan Hewlett, he is the redshirt freshman. Golish's redshirt freshman from USF. He is a really good 3-star quarterback. They say that he is the measurables of like a Deuce Knight, but he needs to be, developed. So he's not going to be your second string quarterback. If we get a Byron Brown, which I do anticipate that happening, he is not going to be your backup. Rise Brush, he is not going to be your backup. So somewhere along the line, probably towards the end of the portal, you're going to find quarterbacks that haven't found a home or whatever the case may be. And I think he's probably going to get one out of those. I mean, because you got to get him at a discount. You got to get him, you can't just go after a top-notch guy because he's going to find a starting position somewhere. So you need a good, solid backup. And last year we nailed it out of the park with Ashton Daniels. So it's going to be something along similar to that. So just kind of be on the lookout somewhere in the portal season. We got 14 more days of this. So actually, just be aware. Actually, is it 13 more days? But be aware that somewhere along the line we're going to pick up another quarterback along with the starter. So anyway, but Lachlan Hewlett is a great pickup. I know y'all are getting tired of this USF stuff, but buckle up because all the top players from USF are transferring out. So they're not just, and the thing is they're not automatically coming to Auburn. They're giving Auburn an interview, but they're not automatically coming here. So I wouldn't say that just, we're getting, Auburn's going to be the new USF. Like, no, I mean, they've got some serious players over there, and I'm going to get into that in a minute, but Lachlan is a good up-and-coming quarterback that we need to take a look at, and that's why he's here. So be happy. Look into Lachlan. He is a amazing. Got 4 years of eligibility, has all the time in the world to develop. So he's just an amazing pickup. I mean, he's good to have um, on our roster. Let's see here. It says I'm trying to see here real quick. Okay, as far as I was making sure, yeah, because I was making sure this is his stats, but yeah, he was a 58% completion percentage passer in 2022 as a sophomore. This is in high school, and then he led, what was it, St. Augustine to the 3S playoffs. He was a 63% passer, and then 2024, as a senior, I believe he was 31 touchdowns and 238 yards per game right before college. So, like I said, I mean, just a good, solid quarterback. Um, so just look into him a little bit. You can look him up on 247. You can look him up anywhere pretty much, and we'll leave that there. Second of all, Jared Smith is coming back. If no one knows who Jared Smith is, he is a defensive end. He decided to stay. He said he decided to stay because of our linebacking core, because Xavier Adkins stayed, Bryce Diaz, Melendez, because all those boys stayed. He wanted to stay, plus the exit of Keldrick Falk, because that's where he's going to play, in Keldrick Falk's position. And if you look at this dude, I mean, he is 6'6", 235 to 240 pounds, somewhere around there, which, to be honest with you, if you want to know what that means, the defensive end is usually 6'4" to 6'6", 240 to 260 pounds, somewhere around there. He came in as a 230 pound 6'6", which is very underweight, but in an edge rusher position, because of his power, puts him in like the Jadeveon Clowney status. He's got that much power that makes him faster. His measurables are crazy. Tall, big wingspan, very explosive player, kind of like a really big Xavier Adkins. So to have him on the team and get him back, he was a 5-star recruit out of for 2025. And this last season, he didn't play very much, but he had four losses, 4 tackles for a loss, 2 sacks, and a forced fumble. And like I said, with his frame and the way he's built and this power, if you look up anything on the internet about what the NFL looks for, this is a rarity. And he's already projected to go first or second round in the NFL if he progresses as he's in college. If he goes from where he was in high school, progresses through college, they're expecting him to be first or second round, only because it's rare to find 6'6", 230, 240, usually at 6'6", 250, 260, 265. So he's already got those measurables. So just be on the lookout, because I think he's going to have a breakout season this year. I think he is. I mean, he's going to have a breakout season. Y'all going to notice him. And I'm going to tell you, with Xavier Adkins coming up the middle on those blitzes and this dude coming around the edge, that's what I was hoping from Keldrick Falk. That's why I wanted Keldrick Falk to stay. Because if Keldrick Falk would stay and become elite, and not to say he wasn't close to it, but I'm just saying, one more year. People call me stupid for this, but Keldrick Falk, yeah, he took some double teams and some other stuff, but he's going to learn in the NFL. He's going to have to work on some stuff. But this guy right here is a great replacement for the production we got out of Keldrick Falk last year. And so I'm really excited about him. So now, before we get into the, well, you know what? I'm going to do this first. I'm going to go down here and I'm going to talk about the USF players, because that is what everybody's concern is. They're talking. I've seen on Twitter, I've seen all y'all talk on Facebook, I've seen all y'all talk everywhere, and y'all are just concerned on all these USF players are coming. Well, let me calm you down. When the potato came here, Brian Harsin, he was a hot shoe. He had incredible seasons with Boise State, and guess what? Not a single Boise State player that I can remember. If there is one, it's one, maybe two. I don't even think it was that. Wanted to come play for him. And that should have been a red flag. But you have Alex Golish. We've got Tennessee players trying to come down here for interviews. We got USF players trying to come down here for interviews. It's nuts. Along with the other thing you should notice about Golish is his coaching staff. He should not have been able to assemble a coaching staff like that, being 2 years coordinator at Tennessee and 3 years head coach at USF. He should not have been able to assemble a coaching staff the way he has. So that, along with the players that want to come interview for him and play for him, is nuts. It is a good sign. Be happy about it. And in this day and age of the portal, I'm telling you, these depth charts are going thin because players are going to different conferences, lower conferences, because they're being offered money and starting time. So the days of stacking 5 stars, stacking 4 stars, stacking is not a thing. The way you win right now is you take a 3-star, 4-star, and you bring the level of their game up. You develop them. That is how you win today, because you're not going to go out and get a bunch of 5 stars. It's not going to happen. You're going to go out and get a bunch of 4 stars. Not going to happen. But what you can do is get dudes that have measurables like 5 stars, get them as 3 stars, and develop them into a higher quality football player. That is what Golesh does. My opinion. So I had to say that before we got into this. So everybody knows Keyshawn Singleton from Norcross, Georgia, plays for USF. He, in 2024, was 27 receptions for 428 yards and 3 touchdowns. A little underwhelming. I think something happened to him where he might have been injured for a game or two. Not really sure. But then in 2025, he had 50 receptions for 877 yards and 11 touchdowns. So he is a guy, great measurables, 6'3", 215. Everybody that is anybody wants to talk to this kid. I mean, he's got a lot of talent. If you look at Horton down there in Alabama, he came from Miami, and I think he had, I don't know how many receptions he had, but I only think he had like 400 or 500 yards, and he's blowing up down here in Alabama. So someone that's why everybody looks at someone like Keyshawn Singleton that had a breakout year last year, and he's right there at that 1,000-yard mark. I mean, 11 touchdowns. I mean, come on now. I mean, this is crazy. But the guy, and so I am very excited to get an interview with him. The one, though, that everybody is saying is the most underrated of the USF, but the way he looks and the way he plays, he's a breakout monster waiting to happen, which is Jeremiah Cogger from Baltimore, Maryland, St. Francis Academy, 6'3", 209 pounds, and 38 receptions for 597 yards and 8 touchdowns at USF. But the 6'3", 209, him and Singleton are the same size. And he was just like wide receiver 2, something like that. And I'm telling you, these guys have not broken out yet. They have not gotten their chance. That's why these guys went there, got some playing time, got some money, developed a little bit, and now they're going to continue their development. And I'm telling you, these 2 guys are the 2 guys that Byron Brown was throwing to. So I am excited about talking to these guys. We're going to get both of them. I have no clue, but very excited to talk to them. Then Fred Gaskin from Ocala, Florida. He's a safety. One thing I did not know about him when I looked him up, he was a dual threat quarterback in high school. So he played, but he was also a 2-way player. He played safety and he played DB. So he played the defense, and then he played the offense. He played QB. And I looked up his QB stats because we all know what he is as a safety. Fred Gaskin's a pretty big name. He's had a pretty breakout season last year, did pretty good. And everybody's pretty much wanted to talk to him, and he's given Auburn a visit. But as a dual threat quarterback in 2023, he was a 61% completion rate passer at 2,097 yards with 18 touchdowns. It was 10 interceptions, but he ran in 16 TDs as a QB. And as a DB, he was 36 tackles, 3 pass breakups, and 1 forced fumble. So, like I said, these guys have developed to the point to where they're right at the breakout point, right where they're starting to understand the speed of the game, understand the game completely, not just a little bit, but completely, and they have breakout seasons. That is what these 3 guys are. So these 3 guys from USF understand they belong in the Power 4. They belong here. They've developed. They're ready to go. They belong here. I'm not saying that we need to have the whole team USF. I'm not saying that. But please don't underestimate the guys that did play for USF that can play Power 4. So just understand that is going to happen, and it happens on every level with every team. As I've said, other teams go after players that are on the break. They feel like they're on the verge of a breakout because that's what an evaluator does. Sees something, realizes that maybe no one knows about him yet, and then they're going to snag him, develop him, and turn him into this powerhouse. Well, these three guys have that potential. So just be aware of Keyshawn Singleton, Jeremiah Cogger, and Fred Gaskin. Be very aware of them. Then we're going to get into the fun part. This is my fun part because, as we all know, we had a mass exodus here at Auburn, and we all got butthurt over it. Like, everybody was upset. We didn't seem to realize that these guys were on a losing team. A lot of people will say we didn't give them a lot of chances. That's facts. But at the same time, there was no player to step up and say, I'm going to win this ball game. There was no player to say, hey, this is bullcrap, to get that locker room right. Actually, we've heard the locker room was pretty toxic. That's what we've now heard. How true that is, I don't know, but that's what we've heard from good sources. And so when you have these guys leave, you get butthurt. But then when you realize what's going to replace them, you're like, oh, okay, all right, that's cool. But the fun part is when these guys think that they're, you know what, don't stink, and they go out and they try to find these mega deals, and those mega deals aren't exactly what they think. As I said in a podcast before, or in a show before, I hate calling this podcast because I didn't label it a podcast, that in one of my shows before and on TikTok, the grass is not always greener on the other side. It's been reported by multiple sources that in past seasons, players will get into the portal thinking the grass is greener, and they get less money. And then their ego and their pride won't let them go back to their current school because they showed their ass. And so now what do you do? And it's happening now. Now, some of these players are going to end up with good deals, no doubt. But it's just fun to watch all of these people that were all these players that were talking all this hype about, you know, I can do better than Auburn, and all these people got in their ear, and they just overlooked the Auburn family. They overlooked it, and now they're out there begging for scraps. Now, Cam Coleman's not begging for scraps, but we finally got the report that Auburn offered him $2 million, but his agent told him he could get more. His agent's out there right now asking for $4 million. And the cool thing is that I'm so happy to know this, is it's biting him in his ass, because he let his agent now his agent's doing his job, but his agent's also messing him over now. And I think his family reported that they're kind of upset with it. They were sold a bill of goods that they didn't want. They were told he could get $4 million. And I'm sure that's what the agent told him. When we offered him $2 million, they're like, no, you can get double that. Well, then he gets out there in the wild, and all the people that wanted Cam Coleman, all the media started talking. If you go listen to the Alabama podcast, the Alabama shows, go listen to the Texas shows, like every single one of them was like, $4 million. Like, do we really want to pay $4 million for a Cam Coleman? What has he proven other than he's a good jump ball guy? Like, is he worth $4 million? There's other guys in the portal that have shown so much more production. And this media just frenzy started talking, and they literally talked his price down. Reasons started setting in, stuff that us Auburn players were saying time and time again. Hey, he's not worth $4 million. And everybody's like, oh, you just butthurt, you coping. Even we had Auburn media saying that. We're just coping. No, we're not coping. We know he's not worth $4 million. We watched him play every single game. Like, what the hell is your problem? He is a $2 million wide receiver. Be happy with it. That is generational wealth. You're going to go to the NFL and make millions. Shut the hell up and be a good wide receiver. But no, he let this greedy agent and whoever else got in his ear to tell him he's worth, $2 million. You're worth $4 million. Go get that bag, son. Like, no, don't worry about this family. Don't worry about this connection at Auburn. Don't worry about what they're going to do for you. Don't worry about that. You can go get that money, son. No, don't go get that money. Make a connection. Make that $2 million. Make another $2 million next year. Go to the NFL and make multi-millions. And next year you probably make more than $2 million if you have a breakout season with someone like Byron Brown or whoever the hell we get as quarterback. But, you know, you overlook that. The greed. It's all here. These eyeballs look like money. So anyway, the media frenzy talked his numbers down. So now we offered him $2 million, and he literally left Auburn. Whether it's a good situation or not, and I'm not saying it's a horrible situation for him, but they're talking that he's going to land somewhere around 2.5 or $3 million. probably a Texas, probably a USC. They all got more money than you know what. But to sit here and say, Auburn didn't offer us a good number, we're going to go. He right now doesn't have any offers. He's got a bunch of uh, uh, scheduled appointments to go, scheduled visits. He's at Texas right now. He was at Texas yesterday, and today's Sunday. He was at Texas yesterday. He's going to Texas A&M on January the 4th. He's going to Texas Tech on January the 6th, and he's going to USC on January the 8th. And then after that, he's going to Alabama. That's what's being reported. Now, I do think the schedule is subject to change because I've seen Alabama getting fit in there around the 7th or the anyway. So, but that's the schedule that's showing right here on 3, and I do know Alabama is part of that. So I don't know where Alabama fits in that schedule, but he is in there. But for him to sit there and just thought he was going to hit the portal and someone was going to automatically offer him $4 million, like it's because of his agent, is crazy. We offered him a fair deal. We took him in as one of our own, and he screwed all that over, all for $1. And I hope he ends up somewhere good. I hope he has a great career. But man, one day you're going to figure out Auburn had a lot of money. They offered you a lot of money, and this Auburn family loved you at one point, and you screwed us over. So whatever happens to you, my guy. I mean, we wanted you to develop here and become elite here and be like a Bo Jackson or a Cadillac Williams or anybody, anybody you want to talk about that has stayed at Auburn, been an Auburn man, but no, you're just a money man. That's all you are. So anyway, moving on to the next one, Jay Crawford. Jay Crawford has committed to Ole Miss, and it's very interesting because he left due to wanting to play for a championship team and money. We have now learned that whatever he made, we don't know what he made at Auburn last season, but it was the offer we gave him was double his salary. Then he asked for $1 million, so obviously it wasn't $1 million, and he left over that. But we doubled his salary. That wasn't good enough. He asked for $1 million, then he left, and now he signs with Ole Miss. So I don't know what that means. I don't know if he got his $1 million. I'm sure he might have, but that's something we're going to know in the future. But Jay Crawford to Ole Miss is a thing, and I just want to let y'all know the kind of the backstory on how that money situation happened. Jackson Arnold. Very short, but Jackson Arnold is being projected very hard. The only projection he's got is to UNLV. The end. That's probably where he's going. UNLV. So anybody want to know where Jackson Arnold's going? That's where he's going. Deuce Knight. This is the funny one. I've talked about Deuce Knight for a month. I've talked about Deuce Knight ever since he played a Mercer game and everybody started screaming, he's the guy. That's when I really got into the trying to woo people off of him, because I'm a truth teller, man. I will tell you when our guys suck. I will tell you when our guys are good. My opinion. Yes, it's my opinion. So it's not facts. It's just an opinion, but I keep it real. I do this with people that I talk to about college sports. I will not lie. When I see something, I'm going to tell you what it is. And I said it with Deuce Knight for a month. The kid is elite in the future. He is a future elite quarterback if he would stop letting his ego get in his damn way. Stop being a kid. Be a man. You're almost 20 years old, 21 years old. Freaking act like it. You want man money? Act like one. You want man jobs? Act like one. As my dad told me, dress for the job you want, not the job you got. And guess what? He didn't do that. He was sitting as a backup, acting like a backup, taking social media up and down, acting like a little spoiled brat. He comes from Lucedale, Mississippi, where he is the man. And then he stepped into an arena where he was not. Now, everybody understood he was the man where he came from, and he could be the man in the arena that he stepped in, but you don't automatically become the man. You have to earn that spot. And so I talked about Deuce Knight at length after that Mercer game. Everybody's talking about, oh, he's the man. Man, Deuce Knight over Byron Brown. Man, stop it. That man has not seen any SEC defense. That man has not seen any bumps or bruises in the SEC. Nothing. Byron Brown has. Byron Brown played in a G5 program that played SEC talent. He played SEC teams and did fantastic, beat SEC teams, but yet Deuce Knight is the man. He beat Mercer, everybody. Congratulations. Give him a round of applause. He beat Mercer. Jeremy Johnson beat Sanford. Anybody know that? Anybody want to talk about that? I mean, where's Jeremy Johnson now? Is he in the NFL just killing it? He's up there with Jalen Hurts and all them boys. Is he a Patrick? No, he's not. So Deuce Knight decided that he was bigger than Auburn. He was bigger than the amazing offer that we gave him. And he went out onto the market. And guess what, everybody? He barely has any visits. It wasn't the Deuce Knight thought, oh, I'm going to hit the portal like Cam Coleman and everybody's going to want me. Well, guess what? Everybody doesn't want you. You had a great thing here, just like Cam Coleman. As I've said, the grass is not always greener on the other side. Let me tell you you want to know who the number one team that wants Deuce Knight right now? Number one, Boston College. Come on now. Someone tell me, Boston College, is that a better gig than Auburn? Now, I do agree that the second biggest is Ole Miss. Ole Miss is pushing hard for him. There's a lot of backing there. I think Jay Crawford might be involved in that. I'm not positive, but Jay Crawford going there is kind of big. He was a big player on this team, and Deuce Knight was a big name on this team, so maybe so. I've seen a lot of players at Ole Miss pushing for him to come to Ole Miss, but Boston College is his number one option right now. I do think Ole Miss is if Boston College is 1A, then Ole Miss is 1B. But to sit here and leave Auburn and say, well, I deserve more, and look at me, I should be a starter at Auburn. You're about to go be a starter at Boston College, or you're going to go be a starter at Ole Miss after Lane Kiffin. So they say that the teams that have mentioned Deuce Knight have been LSU, Ole Miss, Indiana, Oregon, and Boston College. Now, the LSU thing is heating up, no doubt. But if he goes there, my opinion, he's a backup. He's a backup here. If he goes to Ole Miss, depends on what Trinidad and Chambliss does, but he's a backup there. Indiana, don't know what they're going to do. He might start there, but I just don't see that happening. He's probably a backup there. He's a backup at Oregon. He's a starter at Boston College. Man, you killed the game there, Deuce. Man, I'm so glad you showed us, son. You are the man. And no, I'm not butthurt. I want the man to go be successful. But these kids, as I've said in my shows before, Cam Newton covered it. He hangs out with these, or he's hung out with these type of players before, and he says it's like something he's never seen before. They literally say there is no point in development. They just got to show some flash, like he did at the Mercer game. He's got to show some flash. And let me clarify. Cam did not talk about Deuce. He's just talking about players hitting the portal in general. But he's saying these players say that they just got to show some flash, and then someone's going to throw them a bag. And that's what they're after. He said that's sad. He's like, what about development? And they're like, development comes second. Development, it's money over development. And he's like, that's sad, guys. I mean, this college thing used to be like a cohesive, like becoming one with a university, loving that university and developing there and becoming a star there, having a legacy. Wow, legacy is a big word. That's a word none of these boys these days know. Legacy. Xavier Atkins looks like he's on his way to having a legacy, and that'll go on for the rest of his life. He'll come back to Auburn when he's older and gray and be loved here at Auburn and have a legacy. Deuce Knight, where's he going to go? He's going everywhere he goes. He's going to stay a year. He's going to have no legacy anywhere. He's going to have a little bit of money, and he's going to go to the NFL, maybe. Yeah, I mean, maybe. Depends on how he does. I mean, he keeps jumping around. He might not even make it there. I think he will, but I'm just saying on the worst case scenario, maybe not. So good luck, Deuce Knight. Good luck, Cam Coleman, because you're going to need it. You're absolutely going to need it. I don't really have anything else to say. I could go on for hours, and I'm not going to because we're already at the 30-minute mark. So I'm going to cut this off. When we have some more updates, I'll let you know. Hope you enjoyed the show. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Don't forget to hit the bell every time, so you'll know every time I upload a video. Go to TikTok. I'm under the same thing, Auburn Sports Forum. Like me there. And until next time, War Damn Eagle.